I'm thrilled to have you here, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on YouTube.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm excited to be here and learn and explore new ideas with everybody. So feel free in, I guess, the next 30 minutes or so, we're gonna explore what is YouTube anyway. So feel free to plug questions in the chat. I can't guarantee I'll get to all of them, but I will try. And yeah, we can sort of make this into a conversation as I go. Yeah, let me share my screen. Here we go. All right. Wonderful. You too can YouTube. Is the whole point of all of this is that it seems daunting to be creating videos for sure. But it is not only doable, but necessary and fun, which is wonderful. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so who is this person and why should I trust her opinion? Which is a very valid question when I'm always asking. I am a Gen Z digital native, and what that means is that I didn't even have a MySpace. That's how much I grew up with like internet and video calls and all of that kind of thing. This phone is where I find genuine connection and relationship with my friends. And it's always been that way for me. So sort of diving into digital culture and creating videos can be pretty instinctive to me, but also it takes a lot of work, and I want to recognize that too. Even for digital natives, tech is hard, and we are constantly researching and Googling, you know, how do I do this? I think there's this sort of secret among like the magical youths can do the technology thing, which is actually that when you ask us a question, we just Google it. We don't actually know what we're talking about. There's that. And I will be constantly encouraging you to Google things. I am a content creator. So I have a YouTube channel called Common Prayer. I can drop I believe I can drop, where am I? Anyway, the link is in the presentation, and I believe those will be available after all of this. So search Common Prayer on YouTube and like filter by channel, and you should be able to find me pretty easily. On that channel, I create blog type videos. So like me talking right now is the way that I create a video. And then I edit it together to make it more fun. But you can see these lights behind me. Those are part of my production. I have like cameras and tripods and things, but I just film right here and talk. It's not too complicated, actually. I'm also a social media and multimedia specialist for the Diocese of Texas. So this is also my day job. And specifically the intersection of content creation and church, and specifically our church, our context right now. So that is where I live. So what's YouTube and why should I care? It's a home for videos, and you probably know that. Probably you also know about Vimeo, which is a popular place to store church videos, which is great. The difference, the thing that sets YouTube apart is that it's also social. It's a place where users can form real relationship with the folks that they're watching. You can post status updates as a YouTube creator. There's a lot more chat involved in YouTube, and live streams are a big part of YouTube culture as well. Often you'll see sort of communities form around being interested in similar topics on YouTube. And so in that regard, it sets itself apart from other sort of video storage sites. 79% of internet users have an account on YouTube, so we absolutely need to be there. I know, for instance, that most of my peers, we watch YouTube instead of watching Netflix, generally speaking. It's an easy go-to for content. It's also a search engine. So one of the suggestions I'm gonna give you in the future is like, if you want to learn more about like the technological aspects of filming and producing a YouTube video, search it on YouTube. YouTube has resources for a surprising number of things, from technical questions to sort of thematic questions about where we are right now. People use YouTube as a search engine for recipes, for repairing their cars, for learning how to cut their bangs, for everything. And also they search for opinions. So if you want to be heard, YouTube is a platform where people are actively searching for you already. People search for prayer, people search for song. The most popular Episcopal videos, I guess, are hymns. People are searching for that kind of content. People are also searching questions like, who is Jesus and why does that matter? And they'll type that right into a YouTube search. So I created this sort of triangle here, as you can see. It's the way I have seen the internet work. It's sort of this triangle funnel thing of social risk. So right now, you are experiencing, I hope you can see my cursor right now, you are experiencing the anonymous sort of section of the internet. You're watching me talk. You might be cooking and eating right now. You might sort of be paying attention, but not really. There isn't any social pressure on you. You can do whatever you want, and that's beautiful. Just absorb where you're gonna absorb. Great. Then there's this second piece, which is text. So were you to add a question to the chat, which please do, I'm trying to figure out actually as a presenter how I can see that. So Sarah, if you could help me out with that maybe a little bit when you see things come in. If you see things, that would be great.
There's just there's lots of chitter chatter going on.
Wonderful. We love chitter chatter. So yeah, text is like the next step. That is dipping your toe in the waters of community online. Then there's your voice, maybe your video. You're really being there as a person and interacting with people. And that's where community really takes off. Finally, you can participate. And that is when you hop on a Zoom call for a small group. That is creating something alongside others. Part of why I'm excited about YouTube is that I'm hoping that my presence on YouTube inspires other people to go out and create. I'm seeking that content creation from others so that we can have this conversation through video, right? And participate with each other and create community online. That's why I'm giving this presentation, because YouTube can YouTube. So it's really key to have points of entry and pushes for people to join community online in each of these sort of steps. So YouTube is really key for reaching out to people in this first step, is just anonymous viewership. That creates a space where others can share this content or engage via text and then create community from there. All right, what does that all have to do with church? As I said before, YouTube is a search engine. I invite you to search the term Episcopal and see what comes up. Hymns come up, and you'd be surprised. Sermons don't really come up in my experience, and it might be different based on what kind of algorithms YouTube is using to push you specifically your videos. But when I go in on sort of a browser that's wiped clean, let's say, I see a lot of content created by people who are not Episcopalians, either criticizing or mocking who we are and what we're doing. And it's really important that we enter this arena of content because people are searching, and our stuff is worth finding, I think. That's why I'm here. Also, shareability is evangelism. I firmly believe that. YouTube is a new space for long-form content. It is my version of like an Atlantic article or something. It's one of the very few spaces online where people will actually sit around for a 10-minute video when done well. And it's a great way to give people a sort of nugget of something that they're excited about that they can then share with somebody when they personally don't have the words to explain what they're trying to talk about. Or a way to introduce somebody. I'm excited about church. I found this video that reflects how excited I am about church. I can send that to somebody and not feel like I'm burdening them or I'm yelling at them about Jesus or something like that. I'm just genuinely sharing something I'm excited about. And it's a way to start that conversation in a new and friendly and honestly a vernacular kind of way, in the language of the way things are shared today. But I can't share that content if it doesn't exist. We need to be there. Church in the world means church on the internet. And here I mentioned the r/phones are bad myth, which is a Reddit thread about folks saying that everybody's on their devices all the time. What is the world coming to? Part of that is true, but part of that also is that this is where real relationship is formed. This is truly community. And I think we're realizing that now that we are sort of being forced to be online in a lot of ways in community, is that you can still form genuine connection digitally. So church in the world, the internet is part of that world and we need to be there. But let's get down to business, actually doing YouTube. You need to create a channel, upload videos, and share. It's pretty much 3 steps. In the creation of a channel, it's not so much like creating a Vimeo or a Dropbox account where you store things. You'll notice that I have like a logo thing that I put together on Canva. There's like an about me and a cover photo. It's a lot like Facebook, actually. And you can actually link to other channels. So if you have co-creators in your space, you can link to their channels and suggest them too and share with your fans, basically. Then you upload videos, and I'll talk more about specifics around videos in a second. I know I've been sort of talking around that, but I'll explain why in a second. And then finally, you share. And your subscribers, if they click a little bell, will get alerts when you upload videos. So this is really key for getting the word out, that what you're saying is worth listening to, because it is, I guarantee. All right, the videos. I'm so glad you asked. Part of this is that somebody asked me today, actually, what kind of content are you looking for? It's a young Episcopalian kind of question, which is an exciting question to get. And my answer is, I don't really know. What are you excited about? What gives you joy about church or your vocation? And I want you to share that with me, whether it's big or small. Just what are you excited about? Share that. It's a wonderful topic. I don't know what it is yet because it's in your mind, not mine, but I want to hear about it. That's what your video should be about. Here are some guidelines when thinking about forming a video. First guideline is watch YouTube. Learn about the space before you jump in. And in the presentation, I have in like the speaker notes section, a list of content creators that you should look at. And none of them are churchy. It's important to dive into like, what is the secular context that we are creating in together? Are we speaking the same language? Are we using the same editing styles? Where can I be inspired by people? And when you're thinking about how you want your production to look, there are a wide variety of styles to choose from, and you can sort of browse and see what you like, see what you think you can do. The second step is to watch more YouTube. Once you think you've got it, you probably don't, and you need to watch more. I feel like this all the time. I am constantly watching and learning how all of this works. Oh, here we go. I figured out how to open the webinar chat and it like took over my screen. We all have issues with tech, let me tell you. So yeah, that second step is watch more YouTube and understand the culture. What are people saying and talking about? Part of that I'll talk about right now, is that cringe is bad. Goofiness doesn't always translate well in videos. This is sort of a lesson in vernacular. One lesson that I think a lot of people learn when they dive in to this space is that ellipses don't mean the same thing in like online circles as they do. I don't really know, because actually I'm native to the we don't use ellipses generation. So I don't know, I don't understand them myself, but they're terrifying. Using an ellipsis in an email, for instance, is like, in online culture, like Twitter or YouTube, a dot 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 means anger and like something foreboding and serious is coming. And I've heard that a lot of folks, it doesn't mean that. And I know that from work also, that those ellipses can be deceiving and not actually intending to be foreboding. That's just an example of a tiny little thing that could come across completely differently if you haven't immersed yourself in this space. I'm sure you guys have already seen the third bullet on this list, is know who you are, who you're gonna come across. People watching your videos don't actually know you. They know your videos. That's important because, for instance, if you are in this category, an older white man in a collar, your first impression in the internet world is actually probably going to be a little bit creepy. That is the way society has moved in terms of priests. And I'm sure we all know why, so I'm not going to go into that. But that is just one example of you need to know who you are. And I'm being harsh about this in a little bit of ways because nobody's going to tell you if your videos are cringy unless you specifically ask them and you're actually open to that opinion. If we put out a bunch of cringe-worthy content, then when people type Episcopal into that search bar, they're going to find things that aren't reflective of who we actually are and that are also not what that creator intended. Unfortunately, there are a lot of videos like this that are extremely well-meaning, but just don't speak the language and come across as rather creepy. So definitely watch out for that. I gave you the bad news first because there's also good news. Energy is great, and we have that. On screen, you gotta turn it up to 11 and be so excited. For instance, I'm waving my arms around right now. If we were sitting together in real life, that would be crazy. But I'm on a screen, I'm like trapped in this box. So it doesn't come across actually as insane as it would if we were sitting together at a table. The screen, or the camera rather, I've heard from a colleague, lowers the temperature of the content and makes it kind of colder. So in response, we get warm. We explode with like warmth and energy and excitement. And that's what church is about, right? We're here because we find joy in something. So sharing that is natural in this space, which is awesome. It's all about authentic excitement. What gets you up in the morning, right? Make a video about that. Make a video about like how much you love your toast in the morning. Like what is your coffee ritual, right? Small things can be really big when you're excited about them. And this is a space online that honors that and in which people are willing to sit down for a solid 10 minutes or longer and hear about it. That's rare these days. So this is a really good thing. These are some more details. Those are all big ideas. But once you actually sit down to film that super exciting video about whatever topic is on your heart right now, I hope that you right now are thinking and reflecting, like, what could I possibly talk about? You have a lot to talk about, I guarantee. When you're making that video, you should aim for about 10 minutes. Over 10 minutes, but not too much over. And I'll tell you why. The YouTube algorithm loves a 10-minute or longer video because they can put ads in it. you'll see in your analytics that most people drop off before they hit the 10-minute mark. That could be a sign, if they drop off very quickly, that maybe you need to be more engaging in your editing or something. But for the most part, that's just kind of to be expected. People tend to drop off, but you should still make it at least 10 minutes long, because otherwise they won't even see it in the first place. And that's just an algorithm problem. Second of all, always make a custom thumbnail. I make mine in Canva, which is a free online program. It's pretty easy. You take a screenshot from your video and you put it up. It shows that you care, and that you're really serious about the work you're putting out there, and you're not just using YouTube as like a storage space, but you're really trying to create a conversation. So remember what I said before about people dropping off as they're watching your video. Front load the content. They are not going to watch to the end. Yeah, I definitely make edits in my videos to make sure, like, if I was recording, let's say I record for 20 minutes and edit it down to 12 minutes, and I said something really great that I loved at 18 minutes, yeah, I'm moving that up in my editing somehow, in a way that fits, because otherwise people just won't see it. It's a shame, but it's also realistic. Like, think about how you consume content online, and how many videos you just kind of turn off after a little bit. Even you might have had a good impression of it, but there's only so much patience or time, or you get called away for something else. It's totally understandable. So make sure you front load the most important stuff right at the beginning, just like a newspaper editorial. Another tip, along the same lines of length, is split up those long videos. Just make them 15 minutes long. I've edited a number of videos at the diocese that were about 45 minutes long into 3 consumable sort of episodes. That gives people a break, sort of like a commercial break of the olden times. I remember those, don't worry. And it makes it sort of more consumable. People can say, okay, I'll come back in a few hours when I have time to watch episode 2 of this interview. And that can really, that's not just upping engagement in terms of like advertising lingo, that's respecting people's time and telling them, I don't expect you to sit here for 45 minutes. Seriously, it's okay to take a break. In fact, I suggest you take a break right here. So it's a kind of thing to offer people. Of course, here's my next point. Have something to say. Have one point and stick to it. I guess that's kind of in that sense like a sermon. But you know, have something clear to say. It's okay to go off rambling a lot more in a YouTube video than it is in a sermon. It's actually encouraged to be more personal, like you're actually just talking. But definitely have a point, and include that point in your description and in your title so that people can share it and make that point to the person they're sharing it with. On the topic of sermons, they just don't read on camera like they do in church. It's hard. In person, speaking slowly is great. On camera, especially on online platforms like YouTube, speed is actually good. People are so easily distracted, and the temperature is so low on screen that snappy cuts and zoom in and out. Like, if you watch my videos, you'll see a lot of my personal editing technique is focused on making sure that there are changes and sort of speed up, slow down areas visually and in terms of speech. Auditorily, I guess would be a word. I don't know. Dynamics. A larger dynamic range in a video, because again, it's so much colder and people will just leave if they hit a point where they space out and you don't have an opportunity to hook them back in again. Always remind people to subscribe and share, because they'll love your content and they'll just forget. I forget all the time. So giving reminders, especially at the beginning of your video, it might feel disingenuous and like advertising, slimy, gross, but actually, again, it's being helpful to people. It's just reminding them like, hey, if you want more, I got it. If you like my video, it'll help more people see it. It's a way for them to help and get involved and, again, form more community. On that note, in forming community, one unique opportunity we have is to incorporate calls to action in our presence online. The church is one big call for action, and that shouldn't be any different when we're sharing our thoughts here in this space. It's always wonderful to be able to say, there's a link in the description. If you want to take action on this, there's a link in the description. For instance, I made a video that dropped today, and I hope you see it, calling white Christians to action in response to everything that I'm sure is on your mind and heart too. And I share a bunch of links in the description below so that people can actually take action and listen to voices that are more important than mine. It doesn't have to be that huge. It can even be like, click here to subscribe for our email newsletter and get more information about how you can get involved in our parish. Or whatever kind of thing you're interested in. Click here to learn more about, I don't know, North American birding. Whatever you're excited about, have a call to action and create community around it. This is my final piece, is about technology questions. If you don't know something, and I don't know most things, so I'm in the same boat with you. The way I figured out how to create my content, I don't have a degree in making video. I have a degree in theology. I YouTube it. I Google it, I practice, try things out, experiment, fail, get back up, try again. Editing a video takes me about an hour per minute of video. It's big. It is a time commitment, but it's a lot easier when I tap into the vast community of people out there asking exactly the same questions as me. What kind of a tripod do I need? What kind of a camera do I need? What are some editing techniques? How do I use Premiere Pro? Because this is one complicated piece of software. Or even, what kind of software do I need? What is software anyway? What is the meaning of life? You can YouTube all of those questions. And you can get really technical answers, actually, which is wonderful. Hello, Sarah. My last point is the order of importance and quality. You can really actually make sacrifices here. Your video, not that important. Your lighting, not nearly as important. Sound, above all, is what you should focus on. But other than that, go YouTube it and go have fun. Go create. It's really awesome, and I hope to see your stuff out there. Please send it to me if you create it. I want to boost it and share it and shout to the world that we're all here. Thank you.
Awesome, Ellie. Thank you so much. And I love admitting that, like, I have no idea what is a good lighting setup. Like, I know that I have my ring light. I know that I have natural light, and I feel like it does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
So thank you again for being with us and introducing so much in such a short amount of time. So with that, Ellie is around. She is very findable in all of the good and bad things that comes with that, including a very active presence on Twitter. So I would definitely go and find her if you have not already.